Green tea. Green tea. Excellent. Drink it all the time. Best you can buy from Japan. Girokuro Imperial Green Tea. You know, they cover it before they harvest it. They cover the shade it and let it develop in certain ways that way. You know, green tea is one of the best things you can drink. Besides water. Water is actually the best thing, probably. And I drink it regularly. I usually get, you know, I don't have a lot of money, but, you know, I get the very best of things. That I eat better than all the rich people in this. I'm in Silicon Valley, for Christ's sake. We have Los Gatos here 5 miles down the road. And no one in this area eats better than I do. No one. And I, you know, but I'm a chef. I know what to do. Okay, here we go. We're on our story of love. Jeff's Africa story of love and heartbreak. Okay, so what I knew immediately when I sort of made a goofy gesture toward her, poking and saying, you know, I wonder what's really here, because she was upset. She was pissing me off for some reason, and she ran off and you know, started to declare on her video that she was just, you know, she had stalkers now. I knew at that point, I intuitively got, when I have great intuitive capability, that it was over. Okay, that it's not going to work. Okay, you know, if it was going to be more of a compatible situation, she would have stood her ground and not run away the way she did. Okay, because there's no real reason for her to do that. She had it in her head that she had to do that, but in a very real reality way, there was no real reason to, you know, to do that shit, you know. So I knew that right off the bat. Okay, and there was that, but I kind of wanted to deny it, and like I say, I wanted to follow this through. This is unique to me. I'm an unusual guy. The women that are going to be right for me are very few and far between. Okay, I'm not like a regular guy who can, you know, jump. You know, this is not. You know, I was going to play this thing out. I don't give a damn. The whole thing too. I didn't care what she thought. The whole way, 2 years. I was trying to break this egg open for 2 years, and I never really particularly cared what she thought. Women, I don't think women particularly want you to care too much about what they thought. Yes, to a certain extent, of course, and things like that. But they want to know that you are marching to a better, deeper, richer, stronger drum than that. You know what I mean? And here, my march was, I got to play this thing out. I don't particularly care what you think about it. And so that was a part of the whole thing too. And so I started writing her. You know, just clever, very well written things, putting things very clever ways. In ways that she wasn't used to receiving stuff like that from anybody. And she would not respond to my, you know, sending her emails. She would not send anything back. She would never respond to me email to email. She never did that. Maybe one time, I don't know. But she would talk to me through her videos. You know, she would give me my session that she refused to give me. Now, she would never give me a session. Okay, she refused. After that, she was out. So I don't know exactly how I freaked her out so badly, but I never really did get my session. She refused. I could have offered her $1,000 to do a session with me, and she wouldn't have taken it. Okay, so that, you know, shit, man. She wouldn't respond to me email to email. She would respond to me on her videos. She would say, okay, now this, what I'm about to say, isn't going to be for everyone. And when she said that, I knew she was speaking to me. So she tried to get me the session. This is how honest she was in a way. She freaked out and blew away. but she, felt responsible to get me some information she had or what she would try to do. So that's how she would do it, and that was my clue. That was my tell. This isn't going to be for everybody. This is for specific people, and it was for me. And she would then, say certain things. Whatever information she thought she had for me. She would do cards, stuff like that there, that whole thing. That's how we communicated. Now, one time, one of her videos, she looked bad. She looked white, pale. She wasn't smiling, laughing. She was up against her bed, and she looked trapped. And it was during COVID. And she was working in an environment where it was a facility where they tried to get people up on their feet and back out. She was a counselor in a way, sort of, to the situation. And under that situation during COVID, you were under a lot of pressure to get that shot. And she didn't want to take it. See, that's how smart she was. She understood intuitively, implicitly, to stay away from that shot. I did too. I never took that shot. I just increased my own immune system, and I knew that would be enough. But there was too much noise around that shot for me to ever take that damn thing. And I looked into it a little bit, and I said, no, forget it, and I did get COVID. And I still have about 12% to 14% of my lungs are still affected. So I do have a long-term thing. But I would have had that anyway. But I wasn't going to take that shot, okay? And she didn't want to either. So she was getting pressure too, and she was moaning, moaning that about, I don't want that shot. And if she was in an environment where if they would have forced her to get that shot, she would have quit. And she couldn't have got a job. She really liked her job, her temporary job that she had. And she couldn't got another job because how that facility made their decision, the other facilities would have made that same decision. They all would have fell that same way. So she would have been blackballed in a certain sense. So she was shaken. So I felt like she was my little sister at this point. And I felt I wanted to call her and offer her support. I don't care what she thought. So I did, and she picked up the phone. That was the only time she picked up the phone. She never picked up the phone after I called her a few different times. There's another story, but I called her a couple of times after that, but she never picked up the phone. She had to know my number at that point, a different area code than she would be used to in Dublin. And we had about a 35, 40-minute conversation. It felt like magic talking to this woman. You know how it is. Being in love is a wonderful a delusion, really. But it's wonderful. It's not entirely delusionary and elusive, but it kind of is. But there was this magic about dealing with her, with writing her the same way. That's why I loved it so much. It was one of the funnest things I've ever done, dealing with this one for about almost 2 years, trying to get her, in place. And so we had a conversation, nice conversation. She was a little bit shocked that she wasn't inviting right away, but I finagled my way into her heart in the conversation, and she eventually accepted that we were going to have a conversation. So we just talked about the situation at work, what she could do, whether there's anybody else that didn't want to take that shot, and then the situation morphed into a wider conversation. And like I say, it was exciting. It really was, talking to this girl that I had seen on videos. She's like a star almost, because, YouTube can be, you're seeing these, and they look like, stars, in their own right. And I was dealing with her. And during the whole process, I held my frame. I held my masculinity very, very well. I know women. I both know and don't know women. Okay, I know women in a very real sense what to do and what not to do. I never get myself into trouble like some of these guys do with their women folk that mistreat them and take advantage of them in a lot of different ways. That's not going to work with me. At the same time, I felt as though if we could do this, we had a lot to learn from one another. I had a lot to learn from her. She had some to learn from me too. It would have been a great arrangement as far as learning from each other in that sense. So I do have a lot to learn. Like I say, I haven't been into a deep love relationship this whole lifetime. I'm sure I have been somewhere along the lines, but not this lifetime. I was just in too much trouble. You know, there was no room for that this lifetime, except for now. You know, and when like kind of was just pulling out of it at 68, and I was kind of ready. Now I think I can swing this. And then I ran across her, and it was like, yeah, well, you know, I'm making this happen. So we did have a nice conversation, and it was like magic to talk to her. She ended up lying to me about a situation or something, and I won't explain, but and I was surprised. I was surprised she didn't know at this point, in this point of development, both of us. I know that you don't lie anymore. You can't lie anymore. When you get into the higher realms of heart-centered development, or in any other realm, you have to put down lying. You why? Because the power of your spiritual voice. If you're going to tell lies, it's going to weaken and reduce the effectiveness and the power of your spiritual voice. You have to maintain that sense of power, and you can't lie about stuff, even little things. The people in the know say you can't even lie about little things. You got to be truthful, honest, upfront with everybody all the time, never lying. So I was surprised she straight up lied, a big stinking lie too, and it was obvious, you know, that she was lying to me. So that soured the whole conversation at the end. But I, you know, blew up at her a little bit at that. You know, and said, "Hey, you lied to me. You know, shit." She lied to me about two different things, and I was surprised that she would. I thought she would know better than that, but she didn't. So that was a weakness on her part. I started to write her, and I told her, I didn't tell her I was going to move to stealth. I didn't tell her that part. That was my own plan, you know, and I wouldn't have done it right away. I would have got my place, and we worked in, snuck my way into it. And actually my dream idea was have a big place, kind of a big center room, big windows, a cooking area, a living area, then 2 bedrooms on either side. And then I'd be in one bedroom, she'd be in another bedroom, and we could kind of slowly find our way to see if there's any romance there. And if not, just be friends living with one another. It would have been a fantastic time. You know, I know that it would have been a fantastic time. I was more right about that than she was. But that was my dream idea, you know, get a large place, room, and then just kind of see how it worked, you know, not jump into it right away. Give it time to gestate and to see how things felt, because we're both of the same ilk, where there's not going to be a lot of people, either me or her are going to be able to fall in love with, okay? So that was my big plan, but I didn't tell her that. You know, that would have been stupid. But I did tell her. You know, I said, you know, in various ways, you know, I think I'm in love with you. You know, in all the writings that I told her in very classy, very offhanded ways, that because I knew I didn't want to breathe life into her, thinking I'm a stalker. You know what I mean? So I had to be very, very cool, very intelligent about the whole thing. So I wrote her stuff and commented on her thing, and she would comment back on her video site channel, but she wouldn't ever write me back email to email, however many times I wrote her on that. So I couldn't shake her down out of the tree. On our first meeting, she ran up a tree, grabbed it. I'm not going. And I said, you know, come on, come down out of the tree. Come on. Come on now. Come on, you come out of the tree. I mean, you know, you don't have to, you know, this isn't, you know, but she never came out of the tree, basically, the whole way. She was stubborn. Irish, Scottish, stubborn people. My dad said, look, Jeff, you think Germans are the most stubborn people in the world, but they're not. The Scottish are the most stubborn people in this world. And the Irish aren't too far downstream from the Scottish. So she was stubborn to beyond all reason. You know, she never really understood, even when the evidence presented itself, that I wasn't anything that she thought that I was initially. She never cooled out, relaxed, and kind of had a little bit of fun with our interchange and interaction. You know, she never really did relax. You know, she stayed tight and stayed stubborn to a point of stupidity. You know what I mean? So she's 20% stubborn, and in there was a bit of stupidity. And it was a flaw in her character. The 13, 12, 30% nutsiness, you know, that was there. and then this 20% stubbornness, stupidity that adhered and clung to the stubbornness when it was obvious that that was no longer appropriate. Okay, so she stayed there, and I could not shake her. Come on, no, I could not shake her out of that tree. Seriously. And so let me see. What I had enough. What happened is her stubbornness and her ungodly allegiance to her own stubbornness eventually wore me out. I said, oh. And I came up with a situation where I just bounced out of there. I disconnected. I unsubscribed from her channel, and she doesn't even show up on my feeds anymore. Every once in a while she will. And it was over. Something in me clicked, in a way, and it said, okay, I did what I did here. I was very, very happy about my performance, and I learned a lot, and I put it in my pocket for another situation that might come up. And if she was living here, if she was living right next to me or something, I would have handled the whole thing differently. But I performed very, very well under the circumstances, and was very, very happy, and it just was not going to work out. So I said, okay, I'm out of here. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say at this point. Like I said, it was a shame, because we would have had a lot to learn from, because I'm masculine, I am connected with my divine feminine in an odd way, but I'm also a very masculine human being. She's a very, very feminine human being, and it was a good match in that way. It was a good match in a lot of ways, but I guess just not in the ultimate way. So now, what I want to get to is this. I want to make sure I cover all my bases here. So I felt I did my work there, and it all kind of broke, and in a way the love sort of dissipated, and that's what I didn't want to happen. It was nice being in love. It sure is an addition to your life. We all understand that being in love is a fantastic addition to your everyday life, but it is not the ultimate thing. You know what I mean? It's not the thing. I never was seeking love from her as the one place I could have received love and validation through her love. There was never that for me. I was inherently stable. Anybody that's on a growth path is inherently stable when it comes to stuff like that. And only people that are driven in the ego 3D dense world are unstable when it comes to love. They think that this is the one chance they have that love, and everything is placed on that, and it's inherently unstable. Love is all around. We have people starving for love on this planet all over the place. Love is the most common thing in the universe. It's all around us at every moment in life, but we simply aren't vibrating at the proper frequency to pick up on the love that's everywhere. Okay, we're made out of love. We're made out of love and light. This whole world is made out of love and light and consciousness. And we're just not at the frequency, vibrational frequency, and that's what this channel is all about, that heart-centered, higher, love-centered vibrational frequency to pick up on all the love. And once you do that, the addition of someone, a person, a loving, is nice, but it is not all and everything. So I know that if that would have been a good thing for me to Divine Mother and Divine Father know my desire here, know my desire now. It wasn't my desire my whole life, because I was just simply too screwed up to think of something like that. But now, it kind of, it would be nice to be in love. It would be a nice experience for me. I think I'm ready for it. If they would have thought it was a good idea, or if the flow of the universe would have thought it was a good idea, it would have happened. Okay, it would have happened. But it didn't happen, and I had to put it down and say, okay, I know that Father and Mother God have my back on this. Now they know what my desires are, and they're going to find a way to get me something that is even better than and better fit than that was. Okay, so it was a matter of me putting down my personal will and intent here, and my desires here, and saying, okay, I'll drop that, and falling back and relaxing, and knowing that they know what my desires are now. They'll get me the experience, and I have faith and trust that they will do that. See, that's what stepping into. That's what having one foot in the divine world and one foot on earth. That's what that means. That's what it's all about. So it mitigates things on earth, and you don't take everything so seriously. Okay, I didn't get my heart broken over the situation. It resolved itself, I know they know what my desires are, and they're way wiser than I am. Not to say that my soul is around, my higher self, my I am presence, all these things are around too. I had my personal will here was out of sync. That was the conclusion you would have to make. I was willing and did drop my personal will in this matter and surrender to the divine flow. That was telling me, look, this isn't going to be it. But we understand what you want. We understand your desires. And we're going to work on getting it to you. Okay? I have faith and confidence and trust in the divine. That they love us, both Divine Mother and Father. They're, like I say, whatever way I have put together, there's the Supreme Creator, God. That's the God that's over all of creation, and then there's the subset God of Divine Mother to God, Divine Father God. Okay, that's what it is. They're like almost a subset God, and they know, and I trust that they know, and they will be able to get me what I want here, and I can just relax and fall back about it. Now I don't need. That's another thing. I don't need a relationship. Okay, I don't need. To feel to fall in love or to be in love. I don't feel alone when I'm alone. I am coming across the vibration of love and light each and every moment of each and every day, living this heart, opening up this heart chakra, and living this heart resonance in each and every eternal now moment. You're in love about life, just generally speaking. You don't need to have a loving partner as the only source of completion and all that blah blah stuff. That makes it easier too. I'm looking and have been looking. I knew when I was in the hole that having one person that loves you and you love them wasn't going to work exactly. It had to be in a larger context of love. And then now you're talking. A lot of the people that run into so many problems in relationships, I don't think they're necessary because they don't have that larger context of spiritual development that you're going to need. In addition to being in love with one single person, see, so that is my design, and that is my way, and it should be your way, one way or the other, in some sort of variation of that. A love in a personal sense is an addition to the overwhelming love you're feeling each and every day as you live this open heart chakra. And the resonance therein in each and every eternal now moment of that day, and then the next day the same thing, and you're living in each moment. You're staying in the flow that way, and your life takes on a whole different flavor, and all the hardness and all the incredible brutalness of this life begins to go away. That's my plan. This is what I'm doing on this channel. So I'm glad that we all understand that, and I'm recommending you do the same. This whole channel, my whole trek is my personal way, sculpting of my own trek to the fifth dimension. Okay, and the love and light-based thing we have to get to qualify to be in the fifth dimension. You're going to have to do something like this too, and I recommend you come up with your own way. Don't do everything I've done. Look at my videos. I mean, I got to kind of start doing them over. They're so long ago. Who knows what I said frickin' 20 videos ago. But that is the deal. And I'm going to end this thing right about here because it's going to pop. So that's my love story, and it was wonderful. I had the time of my life trying to rope this beautiful, beautiful Irish girl. And it didn't work, and it's okay that it didn't work. I like I say, I know Mother, Father, God have my back. I am Jeff Africa, citizen of birth, loyal patriot of the United States of America, a beloved child of God, and I have these four on my shoulder: Mother Earth, Divine Mother, Yogananda, and Jeshua, Ben Joseph, helping me get to where I want to go, falling from the head to the heart, opening that heart wide, and living through that heart resonance out of the head, into the heart, the surety and the confidence of the heart, and living that heart resonance each and every eternal now moment of each and every day. And that's what the life is, okay? That's what the life truly is. That's what the kingdom of heaven is all about. It's a realization of this reality and your own divinity, that we are all sparks of God. And we're not just human beings, isolated, separate, and alone, walking this brutal, brutal world that is vastly and quickly dissipating into the better, brighter world of the fifth dimension. That's it. I hope you like the story, and I hope I haven't left anything out. If I did, I'll catch it. But I should do this. Look, I did this two videos in 3 days. I should do this more often, kind of get into the rhythm and flow of videos more. So, I wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes, and, kind of get more of a flow this way. So, all right. So thank you all for listening, and we'll see you soon again. Bye.